Holy moly and happy Wednesday. It's Rob Morales, RCO Network, coming at you from The Inner Journey, a show that talks about emotions and the things we go through as people and the connections we have with others. We're here to explain and explore, again, those inner feelings and how they translate into relationships and in life and other things. I am here with my very lovely co-host, as always, Miss Mary Van Elstein. That's right. She's over here. She's back in action. Hello. So again, every week we come and talk to you about your feelings and your emotions to have better control over this life so that you become well-focused as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, or whatever it is you decide to do. I think the whole thing with this show is to really, again, explore those emotions and to really take control of our lives and have moments with other people. And the best moments I've had are on this show with you, Miss Mary. So thank you.
I feel the same way. Oh,
I feel the love. And so if you guys feel the love, go ahead, hit that heart button, hit that heart emoji, just hit it away so we see that sea of red come through. And again, we appreciate everything that you do and support. And if you have any comments or questions, put those in the comments section. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe and get to see us every week doing this stuff.
yay.
Yay. Yeah, everybody's cheering. Everybody wants more. I'm going to cut that off. So our studio audience is here. Miss Mary.
Yes.
God, you're needy.
I sure am.
I did want to say that. I had fun saying that. The title today is talking about neediness, but really addressing codependency.
Yes.
Have you ever been in a codependent relationship?
Absolutely. I have several.
I have as well. And I think it's easy to identify those because that person in your life tends to blame you for a lot of things, right?
Yeah, and vice versa. You blame them for a lot of things.
Why is that? Why do we blame people for our own problems, Miss Mary?
Because we don't want to take responsibility for them, I think, is part of the reason. Pardon the way that I sound today, by the way. It's not COVID. It is a little head cold. I am negative, but it makes me a little groggy. So bear with me with my slow answers. And
you're fine. We'll stare at you more than listen to you.
Okay.
She just has that appeal. But you've been in relationships where just people tend to blame and you're really needy, right?
Yeah, it kind of seems like it boils down to a victim kind of mentality where you want to point the finger outward and you want to drag people down, with you when you want to have someone else to blame.
And I think it's so easy to, because we don't want to necessarily take on the blame ourselves. We don't necessarily want to address those things of ourselves. And it's so much easier to point the finger at somebody else and say, yeah, it's your fault. I screwed up. I chose this life. I chose this career because of you. Why? Why did you do that to me? If it wasn't for me being pregnant and for the kids, I would never have chosen this career. How dare you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lack of self-responsibility.
And it's, like I said, it's just easier that way, right?
It's easier, and yet I think overall it makes your life much, much, much harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a sense of culpability that we tend to miss because we don't want to accept the blame. We don't want to, take on that burden and say it was my fault. I'd rather, it's so much easier to say it's your fault than it is my fault, and those are the markers of a codependent relationship. When you first get into a relationship, it's all fun, right?
Yeah, usually.
It's all fun.
Hopefully. Hopefully in the beginning.
Mary likes her fun.
Love to have fun.
We talk about fun all the time.
Yes.
But all that newness, all that excitement, all those thrills and everything that comes with it, it wears down after a while because we're putting our best foot forward and everything else. We're essentially giving another person in our life, whether it's a friend, a family member, or an intimate relationship. It could be a spouse or partner. We take away those feelings of loneliness. We take away those feelings of separation from whatever they're feeling from. We take away those depressive feelings, right? We make them feel good for a minute. But then when that kind of wears down, when that kind of subsides, it's like, well, why aren't you doing that anymore? Mm-hmm. Why aren't you doing that for me anymore, Mary?
Yeah.
We started this whole show, and we started so exciting, and it was so fun, and now all of a sudden...
It was so thrilling, and now... You're just not making me happy anymore, right?
I'm not.
Well, I know. That's kind of the conversation that happens. And I think what that boils down to is that person was never truly fulfilled in the first place.
Yeah, and I hate using the term happy. We talked about that last week. Using the term happy, what does that mean, really?
I mean, fulfilled, content, whichever word you choose.
You don't make me happy anymore.
You don't make me content.
There's
our battle of the words again.
I am content for myself. But it comes down to like why blame people for not making them happy anymore? And it's really one of those things like, hey, this person doesn't do this for me anymore. This person doesn't have sex with me anymore. This person doesn't make me feel fulfilled anymore. And it's one of those moments of reflection where I think somebody needs to take a step back and say, well, did I ever really fulfill that for myself?
Exactly. I was going to say it boils down to looking inward instead of looking outward, right? And that's the whole point of the show, is the inward journey, because it really all comes down to the same thing, being able to look within yourself to see what was missing, what was this void that you were attempting to fill with another person. Then, that's a lot to put on another person, because they can only do that for so long. Eventually, whatever it is that's inside you that is the void, whatever it is you may be missing, or a pain that you need to deal with, is going to continue to surface and get louder. So it's always going to be another person that you're looking for to fill that, and the next new thrill, or the next even, objects that we buy. There's
and I think so much that's tied into our culture, right? Every bit of our culture basically buys into this romanticism of life. The person of your dreams is going to take you away. The job, the passion you choose is going to take you away. Is going to give you all the money you need. The house that you buy is going to give you that sense of accomplishment that nothing else can give you. But yet, when you get all those things, where are you at?
Or even that, the money's going to solve all my problems, right? Money's only going to make you a little bit more of what you already are.
So this is Mary's paycheck. This is Mary's paycheck today.
I'll take it.
They're just hundreds. So this is Mary. Here you go, Mary.
Thank you.
Now are you happy?
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm totally happy now.
But
it's just filled a void.
Yeah. that amount of money would fill a large void, I would say.
Temporarily, possibly. It would be a thrill. It'd be the excitement of a new relationship for a little bit, and then it would be gone.
A new relationship for $1 million?
Yeah, it would be gone. I don't know if that's
how
$1 million.
much this is.
I don't know. We're going to have to count it. It's play money, by the way.
It's your play money. It's your Vegas money.
Yes.
But again, it's talking about those things that don't fulfill us, and really reflecting, looking in the mirror. I actually did a writing, and you read a little bit of it, and I was really reflective of that this weekend. Is just looking at ourselves and realizing that we have to be the person that gives us that function. We can't rely on anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, so for an example, this was probably me in my younger years, but I was very self-conscious about my appearance and my body. And if I would find someone who would give me the affirmations that I needed about my body, or, they would be, obviously attracted to me and tell me those things, that felt great. And that filled that little void. Yeah. Well, if that person stopped doing it or didn't do it as much, or it, the relationship grew and there's not that, oh, you're beautiful all the time, and then I start missing that, right? Then what creeps up in me? The real issue, which was my own body issues, my own body image, my own lack of self-esteem, that I was looking to that person to fill for me. It could be that, or any other aspect of a relationship. Well, that just personally stood out for me as my own experience.
Well, that's the nice part about an intimate relationship, is they give you that sense of like uniqueness, that presentation that you're the only person in the world, and that fulfills a lot of what we seek for as children. We watch these Saturday shows and look at Prince Charming, and he's supposed to come in and sweep us off our feet, give us that loving kiss that gives us the kiss of life, and it's just like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this person this whole time. And we buy into it hook, line, and sinker. We buy into the fact that we have to buy a diamond ring, the 2-carat diamond ring at K Jewelers or wherever it is. Where do you shop at for your jewelry?
Jewelry? I don't buy a lot of jewelry. Amazon.
So we buy into this idea that we're supposed to get this bigger, the best, and over our whole lives, it's really good marketing, right? Yeah, you buy the next car. Once you buy a car, you get to see more advertising about new cars. You get to see all these really hot bodies on whatever Netflix special you're watching, because the cuter the better. And then on these shows, these dating shows, it's one guy comes out, he's like super hot, or one girl comes out, she's super hot, and the next episode, the next girl comes out and she's just equally, if not more hot, or the guy. It's just always a sense of availability, and it's the culture we live in, and it's identifying that this culture is a market culture. It's a red pill society. I call it red pill. And what they're doing is teaching you and coaching you how to never be satisfied, because at the end of it, advertisers just want to have you buy more of their shit.
They're marketing to the void that is within each of us.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so the thing that we have to do, and the thing that we should realize, and I think you would agree, is to take a step back from that. I stopped watching TV like years ago.
Me too.
You know,
probably about 16 years ago.
No.
16, 17 years ago. Yeah.
You know, I'll sit down and watch the occasional Netflix special or whatever, or movie, especially if I had nothing going on. Luckily, I always have something going on, so I don't have to waste my time doing that. But so many people are like that, right? They bought into like, hey, I did a hard day's work. I worked 8 hours a day, I worked 10 hours a day. I'm going to go home and relax. I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to watch the next Netflix special, you know, and then call it a night, because I'm going to fall asleep, pass out on the couch, and then do it all again the next morning. You know, and then go buy more shit because I watched it on TV and they convinced me to go buy this new box or new item or new thing on market. Because the 65-inch TV wasn't big enough, I need to buy the 80-inch TV because I just saw an advertisement for it. So it's this constant need of needing things and needing things of people, you know. And so it's unfortunately a part of our culture that has taught us that. You know, and so I think, you know, translating, and once you understand a lot of where, you know, a lot of these pains come from, it's hard to really sit back and understand yourself. It's really hard to sit back and understand your motivations, your core, because you're drowned so much in your own bullshit.
That's why I am a big supporter of meditation. Yeah. Because it forces you to, you know, there's this misconception about meditation that you're going to stop your thoughts. And the truth of the matter is that you're just getting in tune with what thoughts are coming through. And you get to learn yourself at a deeper level. The point isn't to stop all your thoughts. The point is to notice your thoughts and then gently allow them to go through, you know, and you get a really good idea of what you think about all the time when you actually stop to listen to your thoughts. So that helps with the learning what maybe that void is within you, or something that you're missing, or something that you're struggling with. And then being able to look at that and go, you know, be aware when you're looking for other people to fulfill that within you, right? Like for me, I started doing meditation, and that was when I really got clear that I was looking for men to make me feel good about my body, you know? And pardon me, I need a tissue is what I need. That's the void that I have right now.
I think I have. Well,
oh my goodness.
You want to use my sleeve?
No, I'm not blowing my nose on the air. So this will be something to look back and laugh on. But anyway, the meditation that helped me to really see where, you know, because I was very aware of these thoughts coming through of, well, he doesn't tell me I'm pretty anymore. Well, he doesn't grab at me anymore. Well, he doesn't look at me this way anymore. Well, I must be gaining weight. Well, I must not be attractive anymore, you know? And when I got to really see that, I then started to be able to work on my own self-image for myself. When, you know, years later, I no longer need someone to that. It's nice to have those things, and I don't need them. It's nice to have compliments from someone I'm with, and I don't need them.
Do you think it's challenging more for women to acclimate to that sense of image, or that sense of culture, that they have to always be on their best, they always have to look the best, because it's...
I think there's a lot of pressure on women for that, physical appearance.
And then that's what you felt for many years too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and not so much for men. I think I got some of it. I mean, you do read articles and you just kind of, it's dismissive to a certain degree. But the need to feel like significant, I think, is ultimately there. And the way we feel significant is translated to different aspects of our life. You know, for women, I believe it's more image related, just because, you know, again, when we think of sexiness or an image, we typically think of a female body or a female entity. We don't necessarily think of a man in that regard.
I do. No.
Well, well, at least from my perspective. But I think even with other women, if you say, "Hey, what is the ultimate beauty?" I think more often, maybe 51% of the time, it's always going to be some sort of feminine quality. If you think of what is beautiful, if a person is beautiful, what gender do you think? It's usually women, and I think that weight and that pressure is tremendously greater on that gender more than it is men.
Yeah, we're brainwashed a lot in that way.
Yeah, from early age. We have to put her in pink, and oh my God, this is so cute. We have to buy this, and we have to make her, oh my God. And so much emphasis more on that than the boys.
Yeah.
Which is oddly curious. But at the same time, like I said, we may be detracting from the point.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I think at the end of it, when it comes to understanding essentially codependence, that's really what we're kind of addressing here is the need to rely on somebody else and how we connect with other people. The codependence and putting that pressure on somebody to relieve your own issues and your own pain isn't something that's very healthy, at least for an individual in their life. Right. And I think, again, focusing more on yourself and giving yourself more of that time to be self-reflective is very important. And more important when it comes to just general things in life, not just relationships. It also comes very important when you're trying to discover like what you want to do as far as a career and who your friends are. So the red flags, I think, when it comes to codependent relationships, if you're a codependent, this is probably going to resonate with you a little bit.
That reminds me of you might be a redneck if.
You might be a redneck if.
You remember those jokes?
Yeah.
That guy?
I forgot his name, but
Jeff Fox or something like that. Yeah.
I think the place to start to be reflective, if you're codependent, is your family. Are they always bringing problems? Are they always having drama or issues that you seem to be caught up in all the time? Do you have friends that are constantly depressed? Or looking at your friends and family kind of gives you an indication of where you're at. So if your immediate circle of family and friends are depressed, or if they're got drama issues, you're probably causing or creating some of that yourself.
And feeding it for sure. Yeah.
And sitting back, and I think the thing we've talked about a lot is writing a lot of this stuff down and being reflective in that thought. Taking the thoughts out of here and putting them on paper is a definite benefit to me, and I believe even to yourself, to have those senses of reflection and to identify whether or not you're a codependent person.
Yeah. I think if I could throw in another one is if you find that, a friend or a lover is in a mood or is depressed, do you feel that you immediately go down into the same emotion with them? Yeah. Right? Because it's not necessarily, I'm looking for someone to fill a void. It's like, I'm so attached and dependent on how you feel. How you feel determines how I feel, right? Yeah. So are you always going down with somebody instead of allowing them their space to process through what they need to process through? And also the same goes for when I'm down. If I'm down, am I going, the minute I see you, I want to bring you to the same level that I'm at so that I can have someone wallowing in my misery with me. It's a different thing to be able to express what you're going through to someone, but a codependent person really knows how to drag the other person in fully. And usually it's two people that are very codependent on each other, so it's not that hard to do. Yeah. And then you just start this cycle of, we're dragging each other into every single different emotion or state that the other is going through. So that would be another key, kind of a, what did you call it?
Red flag.
Red flag.
So again,
you might be a codependent if.
You might be a redneck codependent if you're. But anyway, no, we're talking about codependence and some of the aspects of what that means and how to break away from it, how to identify that and really be of your own person, and not necessarily rely on anybody else. It becomes a different world when you start separating your feelings, your emotions, and stop projecting them on somebody else and really own those. But owning those also identifies where they come from. There's always an origin to all the way we feel. If you're constantly sad and depressed about something, there's probably something in your past that you still need to address or process or understand. If you're constantly frustrated and separated from what your life and your people around you, there's probably something in the past that has put that wall in the way and not allowing you to move forward. So a lot of what we try to do is that healing work. Mm-hmm. and understanding that self. And I think from my perspective and every experience that I've had, it comes with that sense of education, spending the time to educate yourself on why you feel the way you feel. And once you identify why you feel the way you feel, it becomes a whole other world, because then you start seeing like, holy shit, I'm a broken person, and I have a lot of pieces that need mending. I didn't necessarily break them, but I am contributing to them if I'm applying and blaming other people for all my woes and everything I have in life going on. And you really can't progress forward until you start that identification process. And again, just taking a step back and realizing who's in your life right now will give you kind of an idea of where you're at in life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I hang out with Mary, because she's very positive, and we're not in a codependent relationship.
No, absolutely we are not.
I don't blame her. She came in, she's feeling a little sick. I'm like, go for it. Whatever. You're fine.
Yeah. I had a thought and it went away, so I'm just gonna.
You had a flurry.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it come back.
So I think the first step in all this process and everything that especially I've experienced and I think Mary's experienced is really focusing on forgiveness. That again, you are a broken person, and really allowing and to resonate in that forgiveness and say, you know what, I'm sorry to myself. And then once you start apologizing and figuring out the things that are broken within you, to reach out to the people that you've hurt, because I think there's a lot of emotional turmoil typically in people, and they project out and start blaming other people. And once you forgive yourself, you can start forgiving other people for what they do, because we are all selfish. We are all very egocentric human beings, and we always focus in on that. We always want what's best for us. When we're in relationships, sometimes we focus in on what's best for us because we don't want to be alone. So I'd rather deal with somebody in my life that's negative or unappealing or whoever that I'm disgusted to be with, because I don't want to be alone. That is very egocentric. That is very selfish of you to really be in a relationship when you don't belong there, or you don't feel like you belong there. But you're going to put up with it because it's easier to know somebody, know the devil that you're familiar with, rather than the devil you don't know. So you'd rather stay with somebody in a long-term relationship because you can deal with their problems rather than explore and find out somebody that has different problems, which could be better for you because, again, you're egocentric. Correct?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot right there.
Was I on a rant a little bit?
Yeah, that's a lot. And I hate to use the word broken, maybe imperfect or...
I am content with my selection of broken.
Yeah, I think that, to your point, it's all about learning to go and look in and start to take responsibility for yourself. Start to take responsibility for the way that you feel, right? Realize that that's not, nobody can make you feel any certain way. It's things happen. Things are what they are. It's our reaction to it. It's how we choose to feel about circumstances, situations, people. And so when we really take that deep dive in and start taking responsibility for, maybe you say something that upsets me and I get upset at you, right? Instead of getting upset at you, I could take a look inside and go, what was it about that triggered me? Instead of blaming you for it, going, okay, obviously there's something going on in me. Let's take a minute to explore what that is. Maybe you said a word that resonated with a past abusive relationship, and it just happened to trigger me in a certain way. So it wasn't necessarily you, it's me. So all of this begins with us really taking a look in and going, I am responsible for everything that I feel. That's the only way we can start to become that more whole person that can be in an interdependent relationship of two whole people who aren't using each other to fill a void, but that are just complementing each other and enjoying each other's company. They're able to be their own person. And I think with the codependency, it's like we try to meld together with another person, which I think we all have a false idea put in our head from a younger age of two people become one, and they marry and they share everything, and then they become one person, when absolutely that is like the recipe for codependency right there.
Yeah.
In the interdependent relationship, we're able to be our own person. We're able to accept things about the person, even things we may not like. We're able to let them go through things that they need to go through without taking it personally, therefore making the problem even bigger. So I think that all starts with going, where am I responsible for myself? And how I feel and what I need, and how am I able to care for myself? Because, like they say, we should really be okay with who we are 100% before we even step foot into a relationship. Yet no
But
one
I don't think people
like
realize that. People know that, what that means or what that translates to.
Yeah,
because I've run across a lot of people that say they're emotionally secure, that they're spiritual, they found their way, and they can't believe who they're with has just lost their way. Yeah. And when it comes down to it, when you challenge that, they start projecting that blame again because they're so caught up in those old scripts. They're all so caught up in that emotion. It's just, I think it's really challenging for people to find that place.
Yeah.
And
it's just that constant journey, like we talk about, of continued introspection and continued inward journey walk the inward journey. Yeah. It's not just I did a book and now I'm all good and now I can go be in an interdependent relationship, because we're all growing, we're all healing all of our lives, right? So it's a constant step by step process, and I don't think we ever get there, but we get closer and closer and closer, and we experience more beautiful relationships along the way.
And I'm glad you brought up that term too, interdependent. So that's a key focus. If you guys are out there, you want information about interdependence versus codependence. Interdependence in its definition, and it's loosely based on my knowledge and what I've experienced, is you have basically two people who are interdependent, who are just dependent only on themselves, and they make a life or a situation together. Mm-hmm. It's like if you own a company and you make cars. Right? But you don't produce tires. You rely on another company to produce those tires so that you can use it. So you're in an interdependent relationship, meaning that if you need to cut off that tire manufacturer, if you need to get rid of that company because they're not satisfying your mission, your goals, you need to replace them with another tire company. There is another tire company out there at some point who will fulfill the need of 4-year tires to build these cars that you need to build. But again, an interdependent relationship, meaning that you can't sell your car without tires. So you're going to need somebody to fulfill that space, that need there. But you're not so dependent on them where if you lost that relationship that you can't build your cars anymore. And that's the same concept for interdependence. Codependence means that once that tire producer falls apart, your company falls apart and you become so withdrawn and so diminished that you can't even function in life anymore. And that's what a lot of people react to.
That's almost like a company merger, right? Where and I was going to point out that another characteristic of the codependent relationship, a huge one, is control. Yeah. The feeling the need to control the other person, control how they feel, what they think about something, how they act, what they believe, what they like, what they don't like. That's you trying to make them you. Yeah. And that's part of it. That's part of the codependency too, is are you may be codependent if you feel a serious sense of needing control over the other person, or you feel you're easily controlled by them and you easily give in to them by whatever. If they want you to like something, okay, I'll like it, and you're easily susceptible to giving up your thoughts, opinions, feelings, likes, dislikes, because of how you think it will make them feel.
Are you talking about love, Ms. Mary?
Am I talking about love? I'm talking about
control.
So that is not love.
Well, what I mean to translate it to is like, all of us, I equate love to a butterfly. It's very free, very freeing. And the minute we see a beautiful butterfly is the minute sometimes we want to capture it and preserve it.
In a jar,
whatever.
Yeah.
And when a butterfly can't be a butterfly anymore, guess what it dies? And so much of us want to capture that moment, capture the essence of that second that we saw and engaged in that beauty, that we want to encapsulate and preserve it to the minute it just diminishes and dies. And so much of that translates to relationships. We fall in love. We find people in our lives that we just want to take in and just take on and just say, I'm never going to let you go. One of the things that Violet said, she's like, would you fight for me? If I found somebody else, or maybe it wasn't her, maybe it was another relationship. But anyway, I had that conversation at one point would you fight for me if somebody came across, and was trying to take me away from you? And my question back was like, well, why would I fight for you if you don't want to be here?
Mm-hmm.
You have to allow love to be itself.
Yeah.
And you have to allow people to be themselves.
Yeah.
And when they hurt you, the minute is to put them down because they hurt you and you want to hurt them back. When they love you, it's like, I want to hold on to that and never let it go. But that's the beauty of love, is sometimes you just have to let it go, because love isn't secure. It's not safe. It's not fun all the time. There's two aspects to love that we miss, that sense of security and that sense of freedom. And that's always in conflict. Look at a heart. It's never a complete circle, right? If it was meant to be secure, you wouldn't necessarily have those fluttery emotions, and if it wasn't for the sense of security, you would never feel that yearning for it again. If it was one way or the other.
Yeah.
So going back to codependence versus interdependence, you have to allow people to be themselves. And you have to be secure in yourself, but also secure in yourself to allow them to let them go.
Exactly. I was going to say that all boils down to how secure am I with myself.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, losing a relationship is not going to kill you, right? But if you're not secure in yourself, you may feel like it will. I have felt that way before.
Oh shit!
Literally thinking I was going to die.
Yeah.
And so your point exactly, I heard someone that used to say, the looser the grip, the tighter the hold, right? When you allow someone to go be who they are, you will hold on to them. You have a higher chance of holding on to them, because you're not putting them in that jar to wilt away and die, right?
Right.
So that was I love that. You said that.
The butterfly. It's my butterfly analogy.
Yeah.
I think about this stuff all the time.
Let it go.
I overthink about emotions and stuff. I write a lot, so I kind of going back to what I was describing was what I was kind of going through this weekend and describing that. And I'll post my poem once I'm done with it. I'm like
Yay.
3/4 of the way done. Mary got to read a little bit of
and
it.
Maybe I'll read it for you guys.
Next week we'll read it.
When my voice is better.
Oh, your voice is fun. Just, you got to talk slowly.
My nasally.
Oh, people are into that. People are into nasally voices.
Nasally, raspy, sniffly.
Or whatever. But anyway, that's pretty much it. That's the end of the show already.
Oh, wow. That was
it buzzed right by.
So,
yes.
Were you going to show those
Shut,
books?
yeah.
So we had a couple books that we thought could be helpful that were really went into like the true meaning of love and what love really can look like. And that's the book that I chose. I don't even know what book you chose.
So this book is Real Love. You want to talk about it again a little bit, Mary?
Oh, I was just gonna say it just talks about what love really is: love versus control, love versus manipulation. So it was a really good book. It was really helpful for me because I'm currently working out of being codependent. I'm constantly on that journey, and it's been quite a while. So I'm always looking for things to help me along that journey, and this book was amazing for that. So
Real Love, and this is by Greg Bayer, MD. So if you want to go Amazon right now, you can go and select that. We're not here to promote anything. This is very helpful for Mary. So again, if it resonated with her and you resonate with Mary, I'm sure this book is going to resonate with you too. And of course, if you resonate with me, the book I selected today.
I might resonate with that too. You never know.
It's called The Courage to Be Disliked. So I've gone back to this book a number of times, and it talks about Adlerian theory and the interconnection between codependence and interdependence, and how we need to really secure and own our true feelings to not only things but people. Mm-hmm. And it has helped me so much in so many different ways. And every time I read it, I find something new. So if you guys want to be out there, I mean, this is like a 200-year-old book that's just been redone a couple times, and it's kind of a fun narrative. It's like a teacher teaching his student on how to control his emotions, understand where they come from and why.
I love it. I'm going to have to check this one out.
Yeah, I love this book to death. So if you want to check that out, again, we're going to go back to Real Love. This is Mary's pick for the week, as well as my pick for the week, which is The Courage to Be Disliked. So that's pretty much it for this week, Miss Mary. Anything you want to say before we head out today?
No, I just want to give my dear friend Bridget credit for introducing me to that book, because it was really a profound book for me.
Oh, thank you, Bridget.
That's it. Thanks, Bridget.
So we're going to be heading back into the dungeons of being emotional, understanding our emotions. So if you want to tune in every Wednesday around, I don't know, 2, 3, somewhere in the afternoon,
Sometime there.
you can check in with us. And Mary's running late, so we're going to be heading out. Next week, see you guys. Be
Bye.
good. Adios.